first. I see evil when I converse.
Now today say,
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry deadly with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I ain't the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping, no, I won't fall. No sleeping, no, I want it all. I keep God first. I see evil when I converse.
Now today say,
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama, I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for him, baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard, couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you can never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Sending shots, I block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop, pop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Play full belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. The real won't be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping, no, I won't fall. No sleeping, no, I want it all. I keep God first. I see evil when I converse.
now today say,
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, rip it apart. We're letting go, rip it apart. I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, rip it apart. We're letting go, rip it apart. hurt me too. Me too. We're letting go. We're letting go. We're I can hurt you like you hurt me too. Me too. We're letting go. We're letting go. We're
I have a question for you guys. Actually, not a question. I have a story. So this guy goes to, this is in a village, okay? This boy walks up to a house and he asks the people at the house, do you guys want to buy Bilimbili? $60. No, we don't want to buy any Bilimbili. Thank you. So he goes to the next house. This is a story I just heard today. It's a great story. So he goes to the next house. And he asked him, do you guys want to buy a Bilimbili? $50. Discounted by $10. No, thank you. We don't want to buy a Bilimbili. Goes to the third house. You guys want to buy a Bilimbili? $40. Now he's down to $40. And they say, they look out into the ocean. They don't see any Bilimbili anywhere on the shore or out anchored in the bay. And they said, man, this guy's off tune. And that's the story, guys. Dude, that was the story though, right? That was the story.
Yeah, that was the
Was
story.
it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was all in Fijian, but I mean, like, I was like, what?
I was like, where is he going with
Come
this?
to
Where is he going with this?
Bilimbili. Evita. Orichangaulu. Inaka. Goes to the next house. $50.
$50.
Third house. $40. I heard this story, guys, from a.
That's a Lakun Ravi story. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, the game from Lakun Ravi.
So, you guys might be wondering, gosh, that's a terrible story. I heard it from a pastor today. He was trying to tell some story. It was from, he said from Solomon, the psalmist. which is problematic. It's just not really. It's not really the psalmist. And then he was talking about like the righteous will flourish and grow like the cedars of Lebanon. Quite profound. Quite profound. But then he circled righteousness, or the righteous. He underlined flourish, and then he underlined grow. And then he circled righteousness, and then above it he wrote tune.
Always tune your righteousness.
Tune, because that guy was
Off tune.
off tune.
It was
So for those of you who are trying to sell a Biling Bili, but you didn't even make a Biling Bili, tune yourself. Tune yourself.
you end up
Stop
in-
embarrassing us.
you'll
You
end up
embarrass-
in Neptune.
You end up in Neptune, outer space. So, don't embarrass your village. Don't embarrass your people. Stay on tune. And
Yeah, it's a story from the Rob, eh? Yeah. I think the guy from Biblia, that's why. Yeah. And if he is like
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Sure. Alright. Yeah. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
so, there's a lot of stuff like this. It's like some of these people, like, we talk and it's like, after a while, you add too much water to the juice and it just ends up kind of tasting like water, right? Or you just come away wishing you could have had just a bit more juice. And it's like, that's kind of what like some people do with words. It's like, infinity. Oh, so I guess we were just at our youngest son Seva, his kindy graduation, right?
Yeah.
So the guy who was the chief guest, he's a follower. So like, the story is not about you.
No.
No, like it's not about that. Even though you were late and almost made me miss my flight, but like it's not. This is not about that particular person. But I just had to be like, it was like 45 minutes after the point we were supposed to start. Then finally the motorcade pulls up. Chief guest comes, and then they gotta do refreshments, all right? And I'm like, I have a problem with this because I'm gonna miss my son's graduation because I gotta catch a flight to Suva. For those of you who haven't noticed, I'm back in Vanuatu. This cast today is coming from Sabu Sabu, so thank you guys for joining me on the mat. Yeah.
This is normally nice job on upgrading a veranda. No.
I wish.
We're in where we at? Sabu?
We're in Sabu Sabu. And we're up on there's a view, but there's a better view up there, but Stephanie is by the pool. So we're down here. We've been downgraded. So, guy's late anyways. Thank you guys for joining on the mat. Buddy's late by like 45 minutes, and I gotta sit down and have refreshments. I go over and I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna miss my flight. We're already late. Can we just start this thing up? And then they're like, okay, we're just gonna have our tea really quick. And then they come in, and it starts off with it's a Muslim school, so obviously they open with like Quran something. I wish I would have remembered what it was.
Yeah.
Some sort of prayer.
Yeah.
Then they have to anthem, then introduce the chief guest. Then the chief guest has to speak, and then the headmaster does annual report. And during all these things, how many times did we hear it? Like they were saying, like, this is not about us, this is about you, the kids. Like, congratulations to the children. This today is for you. And I'm like, if I'm in kindergarten and I actually understood what you were saying, like hour and a half later, you keep saying this is for me. These ain't for me, bro. Because I'm sweating and I'm bored and restless. And so then finally they started doing the kindergarten awards, and like Stefan got his, came out, and we left. Yeah, we left right away. Kind of like we left today, actually. We're in this habit of like leaving early. But too many words, I guess that's what we do here. Like, I honestly sometimes I have trouble like speaking because I'm not really a big talker, like. So this kind of stuff is hard, but like, man, some guys, some of these talatalas and stuff, they can just riff, hey? Yeah. They just like, And that's, you know, what I have for you guys today. And so with that in conclusion, I would like to, you know, talk
Tell a
about
story.
our mentality. And you're like, oh shoot.
You're like,
You're like, it's just like I love the way one of my uncles, he ends church, like Mokamini, who was just sick.
yeah.
And everybody, like all of us young guys, like we love it when he preaches because he just like, we just going, Naka,
Close
Masu.
Masu.
just like straight from this. Ooh, and he always slams his Bible. You go, okay, what's matter? And then he prays.
Finish.
Finish. You're like,
Yes.
okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it. And so there is something to like. You don't always have to have like. There is something about leaving the people on a cliffhanger, to be like, oh, I want to hear more about that guy has to say, like what he said, like, it, you know, like not talking yourself in circles and like leaving people like, you know, thirsty,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like dying to drink the water of your conversation, you know.
Deep.
Deep, deep like the water where the Billy Billy was. Yeah. So,
Billy ngay. Oh.
hey!
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, Billy Billy, just for those of you who don't know, sorry, is a bamboo raft. You know, on front, that goes on. Usually they do the fishing and stuff out of it, or yeah.
Anyways, you got to start from the beginning. Like, where did you went yesterday, and the reason why we here decide.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yesterday, or this actually happened a couple weeks ago, but to backtrack, I got an email from a lady that I totally missed.
Huh.
And 7 days in my inbox, I get a notification. Gmail does this thing where it's like 7 days, like
Right.
this email's been here. I'm like, oh, who is this? I don't know the email, and it was somebody from, I know her name, but I don't know if I'm gonna say it. Yeah. Should I say it? Can I talk about the organization?
Yeah.
Yeah, Catalyst
talk about it.
Foundation,
Yeah,
right?
Catalyst Foundation.
Yeah, and so they got in touch with me, and they do a lot of good work in Vanuatu especially, and with Vanuatu youth, especially in Bua youth that are in the urban areas. You have some experience with them, right? So one thing I noticed when you're speaking today, I had some actually messages like my friends, and like for whatever reason, I think it's because I'm in front of the camera and the microphone's facing this way.
Yeah.
They have a really hard time hearing you.
Okay.
So do we turn the camera when you
No,
speak?
I see what you're trying to do.
You guys trying to see his face, right?
Hey,
I mean,
come on.
he's a sexy guy, right?
Dude, come
Come
on.
on.
Okay, what am I gonna
Huh?
talk about, man?
Huh?
Like,
The
seriously.
guy behind
man.
the
Oh,
scene
man.
there. So you were part of BYU or BUI,
What urban youth?
Bua Urban Youth.
Yeah.
Okay, and so thank you for your
Yeah.
contribution. Okay, let's go. And they do like so they put like you can, if you're from Bua, which is a province of Fiji, they can, you know, you can apply. They've put people through university, college, like tertiary education, like practical, or like what you would call like a trade school, I guess. And they've just purchased some land in Bua, and they want some help. So to figure out like what they should do with the land and stuff like that. This foundation, the Catalyst Foundation, is I guess the brainchild of a gentleman, awesome guy named Rob Crom. And so I had the pleasure of going down. You know, they said that his schedule is fully booked, and so we didn't know. And so like 2 days ago, they're like, "Hey, Rob has an opening. Would you come down and meet with him?" And so I don't know. It was cool. Like it was. It's hard to even like say, like, how I really feel. Yeah, it's just like, right. It was special. Like it's special when you're talking to a guy who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'll just put it like that, because like he's in a place, not financially necessarily, but just the impact that he gets to make now is something that like is motivational for me. So to be in the same room, sitting beside him, and picking his brain for like 6 hours, like I was just like that was like a 6-hour podcast hosted by yours truly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I have questions. I was just like, woo, dang, because I was like, this is the kind of guy that
I told you.
that I respect and like look up to, and he's not only because of where he is in his life, but because of like the mistakes that he's made. And so like for a guy to be that successful, like he is standing, he probably say this himself, standing on top of the largest heaping pile of freaking rubbish and trash that represents his mistakes. You know, such a bigger pile than any of us could understand. Because like to get to that level, you have to fail over and over and over and over and over again to levels that none of us can even fathom. It's not like nothing is get rich quick. And for those of you who do get rich quick, it usually doesn't actually end well for people like that. And so just like picking his brain, asking him like the comparison of, you know, what he's done with his brand Kukai, women's clothing brand, and his Lyndhurst group of companies, and be like, hey, you like the way that we have attacked business is like, let's build brand, which is like answering everybody's why or making people ask why, and then we can give the what, like the coffee shop. The what is like the coffees, that's the products, right? Or the media company, like the photo and video and documentary packages that we'll be offering. Or the farm, the vegetables, that's our what. But for him, like he made a shirt, and then it took off, and then delivering on the quality of his product is what built his brand. So now for me, going around it the other way, and he said it's not wrong. He says actually the much better way to do it fast, and it shows. But the thing about it is that once I have products, like you guys know about our brand, I got to deliver on the products, and they've got to be as good as I've said they are. Yeah, as a promise, right? Because like at the end of the day, it's once I start having like products or services, and like I want you guys to like either join with me in business or invest with us, or take, you know, purchase our products or come to our coffee shop or whatever that is, like it better deliver, because I talked about it a lot, right? And so whereas him, it's like his brand is famous because people know that he has good products. So like he makes a good shirt, now he can make a good dress, he can make good pants, and now he can, and that is his brand. Whereas for me, like for us, we're doing the brand thing first, so we have to deliver when we come to you guys. So that kind of stuff was just, I don't know, it was a really special night for me. I feel like me and Rob share a lot of the same like feelings about Fiji. Like, you know, we've spent a lot of time overseas and then come back, and you don't want to play the comparison game your whole life, but like you see life through a lens that, because of your life experiences, which makes you question like, why is this done this way? And even just, you know, him, I won't speak for him, but for myself, like if we have similarities, like, you know, feeling out of place and struggling with that, you know, through my life, and then like finally realizing that like, oh no, there's actually a lot of power in like not being able to be like labeled, or like you are itoke, like you are half caste, you are like I get different things, you know, kailoma, you know, and so it's actually an advantage in the long run, but it just takes a while to see that. And so it was just, I felt like if I don't stop, like I can get to the point where like I can make a difference, like Rob Crop. And we're gonna be working together, and so yeah, like I don't know how I also get this opportunity, but like without everybody's support, right? Like you guys, you know, tuning into the lives and stuff like that. Like this all happened because like they were watching our YouTube videos, and they're like, you know, get in touch with this guy. He's a crazy man living out in Levu. And his wife is crazier than he is, you know? And so, but that's because of people's support. And so, yeah, we'll be doing some stuff with them, with the farming side of things.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, I don't know. We'll probably pick it up in the new year, but yeah, see how it goes.
Bro,
So
that's a good leap. Like,
Dude.
you know, you're doubting like,
it's like one step for man, but a giant leap for mankind. And so last night was like a giant leap for the, like, yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's a giant leap for us to be able to make an impact, like fast. And so that's excited.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, whoa, did that really just happen? Wait, I sat beside a guy. We could,
200 million.
yeah, and I just could ask him questions. And I'm like, oh, you're at a point, you're where I want to be. So, like, how do
I get that.
how do I get there? Teach me like all the things that you did wrong, kind of thing. You know. So I asked him a lot of, and that's maybe, you know, for those of you who do have like the opportunity to have really good mentors, like ask them more questions about like what they learned from their mistakes than what they did right. Because like for people who like say in a relationship, and I think I might have talked about this before, like, you know, you bring as a guy, like you bring your girlfriend home, right? Or you're dating, you're in that early stage of life and you're like bringing, you know, girls home. Not like that, but meet the parents disapprove, and then finally you bring one home and your parents still disapprove, but she ends up being the one. And so like your parents are like, if you like say you brought 10 girls home, you probably end up marrying one, unless, you know, you live in some crazy world where you can have more than one wife, which dude, can you imagine having more than one wife? Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
No, just too much complications.
All the noises.
Noises, man, gosh, you guys, shut up, you know, like, and your parents are right. Way, like, if you bring 10 girls home, and you only end up marrying one, your parents were right 9 times, until you were right once, and that one right actually is the only one that matters. So if you look at it on a scale, it's like 9. Like they were right 9 times until you were right. And so with like business, it's like you're wrong more than you're right until you make a really good shirt that everybody wants to buy. And like that's the thing that makes you millions. And so like for us, like we fail all the time. And the trick is like just like trying to fail like faster and faster, and like increasing the feedback loop so that you can like do these things, you know, like simple things like YouTube thumbnails or whatever, right? Like creating a few of them for every video, so you can be like that one worked, that one didn't, that one worked, that one didn't, and you know, increasing views, I guess you go look at it that way. But also like within the business, like what are the repercussions? We studied it. It seems like it could be a good decision. Let's do it, instead of like spending the next 3 months like doing data tracking and analyzing. And like, oh, it didn't work. Okay, moving on. So, yeah, you're wrong until you're right in marriage and in business. And like, but when you're right, you're freaking really right sometimes. It's just a matter of like making it through all the wrongs. So deep. And tune.
Very true.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Are we gonna end it there?
Yeah, that's my intro rant. What do we, any
Great.
questions?
Oh yeah, we ended up today at the
Yeah,
public health.
so I flew to Suva yesterday, then I was there over the evening, and then I flew back this morning. Stephanie picked me up in Lambasa, and we drove straight to Sabsao. And then there was a meeting with, it was hosted by WHO.
Who?
WHO.
Who?
WHO.
Yeah, I'm asking you the question.
Huh? Yeah.
Who?
WHO hosted it. Who?
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 WHO.
Ooh.
Who? Ooh, you idiot. Tune your brain.
Tune
you.
Tune.
You elephant.
You elephant, taga peso.
And so we went to this public health thing. Sorry, Tina, I actually did, because this was like a 4-day workshop, and so we just showed up on the last day, like the feedback day or whatever, and so there wasn't really a chance for me to ask questions, but it's good. It's good to start the conversation. I like action more than I like talking, and so those kind of things are like really, really hard for me. Like, it's just, I don't do well, but they have to happen. Like, these conversations have to happen, so it's me who needs to do better. But there was things suggested that seem really like ominous, but they actually aren't. Like, we were talking on the way back. Like, they're saying, like, in Malawi, one thing that they've done that has really helped their healthcare system is a electronic reporting system for like all of like the village nurses. So where they can enter all the patients, all their village members' data in one central location that can then be, processed by the Ministry of Health, right? And so, but then it was left there, and it was like, okay, great slide, but in my mind, I'm like, well, that's not hard. Like, so there's like, what do you say, 15, is it, am I right? 15 provinces in Fiji?
Yeah, 15.
Like almost 1,200 villages. So it works out to be like 12 villages per province. And so you break those villages then into matangalis if you want, and then you just have like a Google Drive. And then each village has a Google Sheet in it with all of the columns that the Ministry of Health wants, that they want, filled out, and then once a month or whatever the time period is, the village nurse will just go in and enter it, and then we're done. So like, you have to conduct a training to teach people how to use Google Drive, but like that can be done on your cell phone. I have Google Sheets on my cell phone. I just go in, you just share the document with the village nurse, figure out what her email is. Like, it just, we don't have to just talk about it, like we can actually do it. Like, I don't see. So yeah, that's why, but the conversations need to happen. It's just this like, can we do something about it? But met some very great people. Dr. Chanel, thank you so much for the kind chat. That's the only name I actually remember. Chanel, Dr. Chanel. It's the only person that I really talked to, actually. So thank you for your hospitality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anna.
Dr.
Anna, the one who's talking the whole time.
Oh, the purple?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Anna Shinal. Dr. Anna, Fiji. Do you think we'd find her if we do that? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
right.
See?
She's everywhere.
I agree with Lona.
What?
Why waste time building them Billy? He's doing due diligence or see if there is a market before sweating.
Dude!
That guy.
Who's this?
What?
Who's this?
This is Lona Harmon.
Harmon?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's actually where I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so he did the first house. Okay, I'm like, okay, where's the story going? He did the second house. I'm like, oh, this guy's gauging the market acceptability of this like venture, this Bilibili project. And so he's gonna go and he's gonna create demand before he creates the supply.
Right.
So he's gonna go and like get the Bilibili order,
Right.
and be like, all right, I'll deliver your Bilibili in 2 days, and he's gonna go make the Bilibili and bring it to them.
Yeah.
But then it ended up just like wild west, wild west, like tune. And I'm like, you need to tune your story, bro, because yeah.
See?
What?
Yeah, so maybe the Tal is off tune and he was in tune.
Yeah, I know. That's yes. And yeah, that's actually what I think happened.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So the lady was Dr. Maisema. Anna Maisema. Is that her first name? Dr. Maisema. Anna Maisema, who is a doctor at the Ministry of Health Incident. Oh, she does work for the Ministry of Health Incident Management Team. Okay. So I might have said something that might have upset them or something. Because I was like, no Ministry of Health. I like looked at them and I'm like, you guys are Ministry of Health.
Oh,
So I was like,
yeah.
but like what upsets us in village or in town is like we have no long line IVs, like they're simple supplies in the clinic. And then when a health personnel or minister shows up, they show up with an arcade with a bunch of like brand new 2023 or 2024 Toyota Prado Land Cruisers and drivers in their AC and tinted windows and walk around, and then they just leave. And it's like, but we have no IVs. So why do you get to have a brand new Toyota Land Cruiser and a driver? And that's what I said, but I didn't know that the actual Ministry of Health was there.
But everybody was nodding their head.
Were they?
Even the guys from
Who?
yeah.
Oh, the Chinese guys.
He was pointing.
Please, June. I should have just started a chant, right? But that was before the
That was
tune.
before
Yeah,
the off
shoot.
tune.
Oh my gosh, man. So, yeah, it was. Yeah, I felt like I got off my chest what I needed to get off my chest. It was just like the reason, Tina, why I say that it wasn't a good time to ask questions, because like she was literally like she was standing beside the pastor like about to hand the mic, and then I was like far side of the room. I'm like, is this it? Like, okay, I'm putting my hand out. I want to say something. So it wasn't really a good time to like start the conversation again.
But it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good to,
Yeah, I dropped a quote because I'm a quote guy, I guess. And I figured I Googled it after. It's Reverend Desmond Tutu who said that. Who said that quote? And the quote is, "We need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in." I think that's how it goes. Okay, here. There comes a point, where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. And so that I said that in reference to like, you know, with all of these non-communicable diseases like diabetes. Like all we're doing by like, you know, addressing the healthcare system in a way is like we're only just pulling people out of the river like when it's too late, like amputating, you know, limbs, and like giving, you know, coming for regular blood pressure checks. It's like, but if you look upstream, like to the very upstream of that, it's because maybe there's even more upstream of this, but it's because we have bad diets, okay? We don't eat healthy. And maybe even upstream of that is because we plant Yangona. This is something that me and Rob were talking about last night. Whereas like back in the day, like our forefathers would plant, you know, a lot of different things, not just Yangona and root crops. And now that like there's this huge market for Yangona, like we plant it all the time, and that's what we plant instead of planting stuff to eat. And then we drink half of our profits away, or all of our profits away, and then we go and we dry and sell the Yangona, and we wait. So we plant, then we have to wait around and weed for 3-4 years, and then we drink it and we sleep in, instead of planting the food that would actually like sustain us and make us healthy. So maybe that's actually like the very upstream of the river. I don't know, but it comes down to like we're unhealthy. We need to get healthier, which means we need healthier food. But healthy food is expensive, so we should probably make healthy food cheaper, which means that the Ministry of Agriculture probably needs to come up with a system to work with people like me who actually care about this stuff and who actually have farms and equipment to plant things at scale, so that more people eat bele every day or green than eat Maggi noodles every day. Because if we can make people healthier by giving them cheaper and easier access to healthy food, then we actually help solve the problem of the overrun and stressed out healthcare system. I digress. But yes. Tune.
Well, cheap food in shops that have no real nutrition.
What's that?
Just agreeing with what you're saying.
Right.
Cheap food in shops that have no real nutrition. nutrition pill.
Yeah, exactly. They're filler, but they end up just being turned into carbohydrates, which just gets stored as sugars in your body, and then we don't sweat, we don't work out, we don't do anything, and then we just end up putting on weight. Our blood vessels get real tight because all the fat on the inside, and then we get high blood pressure, and then the weakest thing explodes, and usually it's in your brain, and then it ends up being a stroke.
Oh.
That's my understanding of the medical the strokes, anyways. But maybe I need to tune my stroke definition. Yeah,
A bit off tune.
I'm off tune with that maybe.
I like the Maggi masala noodles. Normally.
Masala, like the curry ones. Yeah, I hit those up every once in a while. They are good. They're so good.
How is him again? How is Twist digestive system after drinking the ginger smoothie?
Did it help or did it not make a difference? Or did it make it worse?
No, I haven't had any heartburns after that, but still burp when I have an empty stomach or like I eat late.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no heartburns.
Okay.
So far.
Oh, that's good. Oh, we should be turning the camera. Sorry, guys. So Tui said he has no heartburn. What? No. Next time we're turning the camera. He said that he's feeling quite a bit better. No heartburn, but he still burps when he has an empty stomach. Is that a fair summary of your?
Yeah.
Good. Your situation. So yeah, do we have any questions come in today at all?
Oh yeah, that question though. You could ask whoever's
Okay.
from the Ministry of Health. Tina's question.
Oh yeah. All right, Tina's question. In light of the growing, okay, I'll ask the first question first. What's this? Oh, here. Lambasa Hospital is consistently lacking in vital medical supplies, working laboratory equipment, and diagnostic medical and radiological equipment necessary for healthcare needs. Is there a plan in place to improve the needs of Lambasa Hospital has moving forward? And if there is a plan, what does it look like? So, constantly lacking in vital medical supplies. Yeah, I totally agree. This is the problem. And I think it's also the fact, and this was part of what I said today, was like, nobody has the ability to like take ownership for anything, and that the issuance of ownership is given by those who are leading. So if this is your responsibility, if it does not happen, you are at fault. That is creating ownership within an organization, and I feel like there isn't any, and people aren't given the ability to like make mistakes or like take risks or like make decisions, even though they're apparently the trained medical professionals, like a doctor. And it's like, well, we can't keep poking my uncle's arms for the next couple hours, not finding veins. What's the next logical step? Long line. Okay, let's do the long line thing then. Oh, we have no supply, you probably have to buy it. I'll buy it. Oh, but we have to talk to like our supervisor before we could, do that. And it's like, well, this is an IV. Like, this is not brain surgery. So like, if you think that's the next logical step and you're a doctor, then like, let's do the thing. And if you need to talk to a supervisor, you should be able to do it like right now. Because like, what if somebody comes in and they're dying because they have lost blood in a car accident or something like that, and you're like, sorry, I have to go talk to my supervisor. It's like, you're dead. So that was one of Tina's questions. The second one, if I'm allowed a question too. Yes, you are, Tina. The growing diabetic numbers in Fiji are alarming. With that, the medical system appears to be under-equipped to handle this epidemic. What are some of the proposed solutions moving forward? And I think that's what I was trying to talk about, like with the farming. Like at a certain level, we need to, we talk with our money, and we give money to the things that give us the most value. So I buy Maggi noodles. Me, Jonathan. I'm not talking like I'm somebody else. I buy Maggi noodles sometimes because they taste really good. All right? They deliver every time. They taste exactly the same. I know what I'm getting. All right? So I like the taste, and the taste is the same every single time. And the amount of time that it takes me to be like, I'm hungry, to I'm satisfied with Maggi noodles is like what? 3 minutes? Right? So it's a good product. It's a good product that's good every time, and it's very, very fast. And so those, like, say Maggi noodles, whatever, take those 3 principles and let's try to apply that to like something healthy, like vegetables, like cabbage, at scale, and make sure that, like, the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Agriculture are working together to make sure that, like, these things are stocked every certain amount of, or in every major urban area, there is a huge supply of this stuff. Because, like, people are like, oh, bring the price down. It's like, yeah, that's okay. It brings the price down. People always find something else to plant. And, like, if I plant 200 acres of it, then somebody else will plant something else that I don't plant. And it's all good. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great, man.
I had an advice. Did you have any advice things?
My advice?
Or should we do some headlines? Let's do some headlines first. Drew's
Don't
dying.
drink cold water if you're coughing.
Yeah, right, dude. That has nothing to do with it. That's such a Fijian hoax, man.
That's a Fijian advice for you.
It's not true. It's not true. I reject that. Chun mandan
on
nomu
your
ka
off-
boka
off
boka.
tune, man.
You bloody.
Oh,
Okay. Elon Musk curses out to advertisers who left X. Oh, so I saw this yesterday.
yeah.
Obviously, we try to avoid profanity because, like, I know a lot of you guys are kids and people are growing up. And the reason I don't try to use, like, profanity is I just don't think it's, like, the best reflection of Jesus. And so sometimes I do, I guess, like, probably rarely. And even sometimes you make, like, risky jokes. But I'm always like, is that the best reflection of, like, Jesus and, like, the person that he was? And is that the best? Because at the end of the day, that is my, like, biggest mission, is that, like, people would know Jesus because of, like, what I do. But, like, so this stuff is hard because sometimes it's just funny to say the bad word. And so it's like balancing, like, what's more important, like the impact you make with the words you say, being funny, or being set aside and being different because, like, you don't use certain words. And so I try not to be prissy about it either, because it's also like, oh my gosh, just say the word. What the F, Mero? It's like, okay. Also, what is that? Jesus is like, oh, good thing you didn't say fuck. It's like, I don't know. Like, it's like, even me say that, right? It's like, it's cheesy. And it's like, you know what you're saying. Maybe don't say it. So, what was this all about? Can you summarize this for me?
What?
Like, something about blackmail? His advertisers?
Yeah, the advertisers are trying to... They're all living
X.
in sort of way to, like, they... I don't know, like... There was a blackmail that they wanna... because with X, when he jumped in with X, they want control, right? Those advertisers, they want control, and he doesn't want that. He wants, like, free speech. And to those advertisers, they didn't, like, agree with that.
Because apparently people have made, like, anti-Semitic comments.
Yeah.
And he didn't replace them, or he didn't remove them. Sorry.
Remove them, yeah. So, like, when they used to have control before, they would, like, remove this, push this propaganda.
Right.
This. But then now they don't agree with whatever, like, he's setting, like, for X, and everyone's like, X is not the same, like, Twitter is not the same.
Right.
And they started leaving. They're like, bro, they didn't know, like, X is just starting, and
Yeah, so like Elon
There's
Musk,
a competition now, like X and Thread.
right? I mean, I think like X
All
is
of them are going to Thread.
going to Threads, right? All those advertisers, yeah. I think X still has a big advantage, or Twitter still has a big advantage over Threads, just because it has been around the longest. It has the biggest market share, and so people are just used to it. So I think it's also easy for me to type in X on my search bar on my phone, and it's the only app that pops up. I like that. You ever do that?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Not those kind of apps. Not that kind of apps. No. I guess. See, look. Look at this.
Prove it.
Like
Prove it.
X. Oh, see, X. Seti.
Okay.
Yeah, I proved it.
Okay, only one
I
X,
proved it.
yeah.
I proved it. Only one X.
Okay.
Only one X in my life.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, he basically there was a thing I saw on Instagram. He was just basically like, he's like, you guys want to try to blackmail me? He's like, go fuck yourself. He just said it. He's like, what? You want me to say it again? And he just said it like, go
Yeah, the host
yourself.
was
like
so stunned.
the guy's like, okay. And so, you know, this kind of language is people standing up to the system and to big companies, big advertisers who felt like they have had all the power, is very, very important for our ability to live and receive information in a free way. So shout out to Elon Musk. I think I'm a huge fan of like everything that he does. I just think he's a genius beyond my imagination, and I think that guys like him are they are the kingmakers of our generation. Like, so they're the ones that, you know, what they do changes who's in power, governmentally, you know, from a government perspective. And so he definitely sets the tone.
Yeah.
And like that kind of stuff. Like, you know, it kind of still started like from a couple weeks ago with Dana White, who's the president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, talking about the sponsor Peloton and how. So there's this really great comedian who does an awesome podcast. His name is Theo Von, and probably wouldn't admit that out loud usually, but he does a good podcast because he has the ability to have conversations with people like Jordan Peterson, and then talk to like a New York City garbage man. So I listened to his podcast last week where he interviewed for 3 hours an ex-New York City garbage collector.
I saw that one.
And it was awesome. Did you listen to it?
I saw that one. Like it appeared.
But you didn't listen to it?
I listened to like bits and pieces, like they
Chopped it up?
Yeah, chopped it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great podcast.
Yeah.
It was fun. And so that's, Theo Von does it in a really, really great way. And so I would love to be able to converse like him and have like conversations like him. But he's a comedian, and so he gets to say things that you know I don't get to say because he lives in a different world where he can be outrageous, right? And so he's interviewing Dana White, president of the UFC, and he's like, yeah, I had this guy on, John F. Kennedy, and one of my sponsors said that I had to take the episode down because like it didn't align with their beliefs politically. And he was like, it was just a guest, like it wasn't a political move, it was just a guest on my podcast. And Dana White's like, so UFC, right? $4 or $5 billion company valuation. He's like, so who was the advertiser that asked you to take it down? And Theo's like, I can't remember. And he's like, I feel like you're lying to me. And Theo's like, no, I'd actually say it if I remember. And then like a couple minutes later, it's like, oh, I remember. It was Peloton. Peloton does like all the stationary bikes and like the treadmills. They got super big during COVID. So like all their machines like have a screen on them. And so you can select workouts and work out in group settings live with other groups that are working out. And you see like in front of you, or like you can pick terrains, and like if you're on the bike, you're actually biking like the trail
Mm.
or the road, you know, and the hills and everything, and you feel it, and the increase. It's pretty cool. But Dana White's like, oh, is Peloton? He's like, he turns around to like a guy who's in the UFC Performance Institute. He's like, yo, do we have any Peloton bikes and treadmills in here? And the guy's like, yeah, we have some Peloton. He's like, all right, take them out and throw them in the rubbish bin. He's like, we don't have to do Peloton. We don't have Peloton anymore. Like, I don't want. He says,
Sure.
yeah. So he called the guy and he's like, this is what happened with. He actually called him over and he was explaining live on the podcast.
Right.
He's like, so this is what happened. These guys said this to Theo, and they made fun of like Peloton's CEO for a bit. And they're like, so I want you to take out all the Peloton bikes and I want you to throw them in the trash. He's like, we're not buying Peloton anymore.
Sure.
And then that exploded, and now like this, and so it's like a bunch of the people who actually control industry, being like, we don't need you guys, you know. And so we have enough people like that. I'll be like, freaking, you know,
Well, then,
screw you, Turi.
Hey. Talo.
Oh man,
Don't talk like that, you baga.
Bula,
Good.
we're coming back. When you come back, you wait for us.
Yeah,
Wait for us. Actually, wait for
Lost
us.
it for us. Get ready.
We'll text you when we're on our way back. You can go into the house, get 1 bag, 2 bags, mix it for us.
Yeah, because I have to finish this vlog.
Okay, set. Yeah, because Stu has to vlog. We're gonna finish it. We're gonna finish that sack.
Monkey.
How many?
Well,
Like
let me see.
15 kg. Bro.
Pray for us.
Pray for us. Que arraia.
Que
Que arraia.
Oh,
So, yeah. Sorry guys, we're not in our normal location today. I had an advice that I wanted to address. It's actually pretty, maybe a touchy subject. My mom is super angry at me for having an abortion. I'm choosing these because they're hard to talk about, but they're real, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't thought. I don't pre-script any of this, guys, so I can talk myself into a hole here. What do you guys think? Right? My mom is super angry at me for having an abortion. Actually, I'll try to see if I can find the story for you guys here. Hey. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm a 16-year-old female. I had an abortion about a week ago. I only told my best friend, auntie, and boyfriend. I did not tell my mom, as she is pro-life and would never forgive me for having sex, let alone an abortion. She had me at 16, and I did not want to keep a cycle of teenage pregnancy going in our family. I also have a bright future ahead of me, as I am almost about to finish secondary school and go to college. Recently, I've been skipping school and spending most of my days off with her because I just really needed my mom to comfort me during this time without her knowing. She did not question why I was not going and just let me be with her all day. Today we got back from running errands. She checked the mail and opened one of my letters. The letter came from the hospital I went to, letting me know that I'm supposed to come in for blood work test to make sure the abortion was successful. She texted me to come and talk to her. I went and she showed me the letter. So I was asking lots of questions about the abortion while she was crying. I cried as well and told her I didn't know what to do and I felt like it was my only option. I went back down to my room, and a few minutes later she asked me to come talk to her again. Instead of talking to me, she just started yelling at me and telling me that it was my fault and that I had killed someone. I told her I didn't want to, but I felt like I had to because I've asked before what she would have done if I got pregnant. She said she would have kicked me out and made me live with my boyfriend. We are not speaking right now, and I'm not sure what to do anymore. Can someone please give me some advice? I can't talk rationally with my mom, as she often chooses to yell and scream instead of having a conversation. Obviously, I'm pro-life, and I'm against abortion. And I believe that life happens at conception. And so that's just, you know, there's people who have very good arguments why not. That's just where I stand, and I'm an idiot. So I don't, like, that's just where I believe the line can be drawn, because eventually you draw the line somewhere. And I just think, like, it's better just to draw the line at like 0 instead of being like, so what, like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year old, like a born. What is born when you can have the baby taken out of, you know, by C-section? That means that the baby can survive, but it's not yet out of the mother's body. It's just such a complex subject, and it's something I almost have no right talking about, I feel like, to a certain extent. And so I'm trying to, like, approach this with, like, grace, because I hope you guys have grace for me, because it's not like a fun subject to discuss. But somebody asked me once, like, would you, if your sister had nobody and she needed somebody to, like, stand by her side while she went and got an abortion, like, would you just not go? Like, would you just let her be alone? Like, if nobody supported her in her decision, and I wouldn't support that decision, would you just make her go alone? And I was like, man. So there's ways to frame arguments, right? There's ways to frame situations that make you think. And so I say that because, like, it's really easy for, like, me as a Christian, and, you know, obviously he's pro-life, to stand, you know, back and be like, yeah, like, I think it's wrong. And, like, everybody who does it is, like, in the wrong. And it's like, but I don't know all the situations. I just know that, like, life is beautiful. And so when decisions have been made, I've made lots of mistakes too, but I don't think, like, guilting somebody about it is the right thing. I think that mom probably just needs time, like, to just process what just happened with her daughter. And I think the problem is that, like, when you have two people who are processing something, you have a fight, usually, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, neither of you can, like, make the full-on decision and be like, this is, you know, and, like, the full-on decision when you're having a disagreement is, like, grace, you know, and giving up, like, we see this in what Jesus did, like, the giving up of yourself, even though, like, that person doesn't deserve it necessarily, right? And so I think the daughter and the mom probably are just in both processing stage, and so it's not easy to come up. Can they still see me clearly with, like, all the?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah?
looking at it.
Okay, it's good. With all of the hormones and stuff that are going on, with all of the emotions, like not knowing if she did the right thing, and then being told that she did the right thing, or then being told by her mom that she did the wrong thing after it's too late. And so, you know, it's too late to bring the baby back, but you can make your point clear, like, I don't feel like it was the right decision, but I'm here for you. And I think that would be the right approach by a mom or by a parent. Would be like, you made a mistake, but I love you. Because, like, what are you gonna do? Like, where does that end, right? Just, like, being angry and then, like, kicking people out of the house, and it's like, well, like, the grandkid is gone anyways, and now you lost your daughter. So it's like, you kind of have to choose, because it's like, it's kind of like you get one or you get nothing now. So yeah, difficult though.
It's very.
What do you think?
Very difficult.
Or turn the camera to you.
Come on.
Guys, do have something to say?
Okay, what do I think, like, with pro-life? I mean, like,
Or what do you think
abortion.
this situation in general? Like, you know, you have two people lots of emotion.
I'd agree. Like, I don't agree with that's what I always say to some of my friends, that in a certain group, that I usually tell them that, hey, I don't agree with I love you
Yeah,
as a person,
yeah,
but I don't agree with what you're doing.
right. Yeah,
I don't agree with what you're doing, but I still love you
yeah, yeah,
as a person.
yeah.
And just know that where I stand, and you'd respect me, or like some sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like with
yeah.
this, in this situation, yeah, I'm a pro-life, I guess.
Those labels are so like triggering though too.
Yeah.
I'm pro-life.
In this situation, it's different. Like, some people would like argue, like, okay, what happens like with those who, got raped
Yeah, yeah,
and have a
Right.
kid,
yeah,
a kid that they don't want,
yeah.
where does that, like,
Where do you draw the line?
where do you draw the line with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
This very, very, very touchy, subject to talk about. But like, I always like picture it in my head, like, for women, mostly women, because they're attached to the baby, or like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. What happens when you do lose? When you went through with the abortion, and like afterwards, the aftermath. Like, do you think
Have
about?
you talked to any women after
Yeah,
abortion?
yeah.
And what's it usually like?
Well,
Shame.
yeah. Regret. Full
Regret.
Yeah,
Typically.
yeah. Because they have a form of connection, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a mother. It's like it's growing in you, and to lose that, in the moment, maybe in the moment you weren't in the right mind,
Yeah.
but like after,
Out of tune.
out of tune, yeah. But like after like going through with it, and then the guilt,
Yeah.
starts hitting you,
Yeah.
and then the regret starts hitting you,
Yeah.
and sometimes some people can't move on from that, or still linger on,
Yeah.
still think about it every now and then,
Yeah. Well, like hindsight is 20/20, right?
yeah.
Like, so you can. Yeah, that's tough, right? You make a decision in a moment based on all the information that you have, and then it ends up being like something you regret. But you don't regret things until you missed the chance to do them, or you did them, and it's like, but regret is like, it's almost that people say like don't regret anything. And it's like it's almost impossible, and that's why I don't like even like worry about that mantra, is because it's like I regret heaps of stuff all the time, but like I just don't dwell on it. Like, I'm like, I could have done that better. Like yesterday after dinner, right? I have this unbelievable dinner, the best dinner I've had in years, probably. No, that's an exaggeration, but beautiful dinner. And then we're just talking, and then I get dropped off at home or at the Airbnb, and I didn't say thank you for dinner. I said, like, thank you guys so much for having me. Like, it was a pleasure. I said all those things. And so then I'm like, shoot. And I'm not comparing this regret to the regret of having an abortion and then regretting it. I'm just saying, like, to put then the pressure on yourself of being like, but I shouldn't regret it. It's like, regret is just, I feel like it's part of just like living. It's just part of life. But then like with me, I was just like, well, I don't know. They probably don't send a text, all right? And that was how easy it is to solve that problem. Like, I'm sorry, I forgot to say thank you for dinner. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Beautiful, beautiful meal. But like, you just have to move on. And because like, it's just the moment's over.
But what I don't know if you can give an advice though.
Yeah, like I'm a dude, guys. So like, this is all coming from a guy. You guys, there's probably people behind the camera right now. They're like, "Ah, this guy is so stupid."
But what advice would you give? Or like, what would you say to someone who went through with an abortion and feels guilty and regret it?
I think that's probably like you're not like alone in feeling that way. And yeah, you made a mistake, right? And that mistake is more likely to haunt you, than mistakes, like other kinds of mistakes. Like, oh, I should have woken up early, I missed the bus. Like, that's, shoot. Regret not waking up earlier, but now I'm catching the next bus. I'm not going to be late for my appointment or whatever. But, like, you need to be able to live, like, you have to be able to, like, love, like, have the ability to have grace on yourself, because, like, Jesus was like the ultimate example of grace, right? And he, like, if we were held accountable for all the things that we did wrong, like, none of us would ever go to heaven, or none of us would ever be able to live and lead happy lives, because, like, we all screw up all the time. And so you need to be able to forgive yourself so that, like, you can allow the healing to start taking place.
Yeah.
Because, and like you said before, like, forgiving yourself is sometimes the hardest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And, we all have regrets, and sometimes the things that we still hold on to are usually our own things, right? Like the reasons, the forgiveness that we haven't allowed ourselves to have. And that sounds weird, but yeah, like, you're loved more than people love you here by God. And so I think, like, when you understand that and you realize that, like, he has forgiven you, like, before you even did it, then, like, you're covered. And that baby's with Jesus, right? And so that's a life that is with him. And so you gotta move on. Yeah, I think. Because at a point, like, people are like, oh yeah, you gotta move on. Like, easy for you to say it. But it's like, eventually that happens for some people, or it doesn't, and then the worst thing happens. Like, you harm yourself. Or, to segue into the next question I saw there, like, increase in suicide rates.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's probably like a huge result of that is, like, people not understanding, like, how much you're forgiven, and that it's not about, like, what you do, because, like, I'm not good enough, you're not good enough, Tui's not good enough. So, like, the pressure combined with, like, guilt can be, like, crippling for some people. And I think, like, when you realize that Jesus did it all, and, like, we're covered, and we don't have to worry about, like, penance and doing more good than bad so that we can, like, end up in a good place, when we die. It's like, when that's all, all sorted in your head, and you're like, whoa, like, I'm good forever. Now I'm called to, like, tell the people about this goodness that I get to experience. Like, the pressure's off. And so I think, yes, suicide rates are people not being able to allow themselves forgiveness. Nobody to talk to, too, for sure. Like, no close circle of friends.
Yeah.
I think people are desperate for, like, close friendship. And I think that a lot of people don't get it. And I think that, man, I feel like whatever organizations we rely on have really not allowed us or taught us how to, like, actually go deep with each other, and how to, like, have, like, those real meaningful conversations, because, like, you have to break down those walls to the point where, like, a lot of uncomfortable things about me, I know a lot of uncomfortable things about you, and we can now, like, have open conversation. And I think, like, people just not having that kind of support system just feeling like nobody would understand this. Like I'm crazy for thinking this or feeling this way. I feel like there's no other option other than to like off myself. And so there is also a hotline for that, right?
Yeah.
In Fiji.
For
Yeah, for suicide.
Yeah.
People are having suicidal thoughts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What is the hotline? Sorry guys, just because we're talking about it, we might as well.
1543.
Yeah, 1543? Yeah, okay. So that's if you're having or experiencing suicidal thoughts, 1543 if you live in Fiji. And if it would help, like, honestly, like, comment on our stories when we do this kind of stuff so that we can talk about this. Like, about your particular situation. Like, we won't bring up your name or, you know, make a new account and send us in a message or email us. But if not, call the helpline.
Question.
Yeah.
Are we too busy with ourselves to think of others?
Are we too busy with ourselves to think of others? I think we busy ourselves with a lot of things that we feel like are gonna like make us happy, and then we get to the end, wherever that is, or we get to that, you know, to the point where we think like, okay, like this will be happiness. And then we realize that like, oh, actually the thing that makes me happy is like the giving away thing that I did, you know, while I was getting there, or like helping people, and making a difference. And you don't need to be rich to do that kind of stuff, you know. Perfect example is like, you know, our elders in Fiji, like there was no money, you know, up until very recent history, but like they felt so prideful in their ability to pass on culture and traditions. And now you see like, oh, the kids nowadays, you know, nowadays they don't know anything, they don't respect, they don't, you know, it's changed. And it's like, yeah, well, that's because now we value other things more than we'd rather get the dopamine hit off our phone than like have a, you know, village cultural buliwaka banua or whatever you want to call it. Like, you know, like a time where there's some elders sitting around with, you know, us youngsters teaching us about different protocols and what to do, what to say, you know, and role playing it and stuff like that. And so I think like people equate nowadays like giving away or like giving with like money, but like there's also pride in like handing down. Like sometimes the biggest legacy you'll leave is like what you do with your kids, like the kids that you raise are like the biggest thing that you'll ever do in this life. And so that is also like a way to give back and to not just be like totally obsessed with ourselves, is to not just feel like we have to, when we have to give money, but like you have a lot of like stuff that you know that other people don't, and so like share some of that, or like what are you passionate about, and like find an avenue where you can like pass some of that stuff on.
Good talk, man.
Yeah, should we do one more?
Yeah.
We got any questions, or want to do one of these?
Fuel prices dropped. Did you know that?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, good thing I didn't buy more fuel. Did they really?
Yeah.
They dropped?
Yep.
Where are you here?
Where's for see my cursor?
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, this is December 1st, eh?
Yeah.
So what do we got here? I only care about diesel. How is diesel not the first thing listed? Motor spirit will decrease by 16 cents to this. Premix will decrease by this. Kerosene, well, diesel will decrease by 13 cents. From 203 to 290. Well, that helps. That's good. That's a lot, actually, when you going through 100 liters a week or whatever. Yeah. That's great. I love it.
And you heard about the new Extra in Labasa?
Oh, Extra just opened, eh?
Yeah.
See-
$6.5 million.
In investment?
Yeah, for the Labasa branch.
Man. So, I saw a video of people at Extra today. It's a big fancy supermarket in Fiji that has like cool foods or like a lot of like kind of like an overseas style like shopping experience. And so they just opened in Labasa, and it's actually the biggest Extra in all of Fiji. I didn't know that up until recently. And so they just opened today, I think. Yesterday, and apparently the parking lot was just packed full. So
160 workers.
160.
Yeah, they've employed. So
That's cool.
you know,
That's great.
all through the government's ongoing knock policy. So
Yeah,
everything's coming in slowly.
slowly.
Great.
But one thing that I do want to like, it seems like people in Samsung are really struggling. So our friends who have a charter company called Immersion, they actually had like a really unfortunate incident where, not totally unrelated, it was again non-communicable disease. Their captain passed away. They have a fishing charter company. The captain passed away like a few weeks ago. And not a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago now. And they cannot for the life of them find a new captain to replace him. And so if you guys know somebody who would even love the opportunity to learn, or knows how to operate a boat, or has like even their boatmaster license, but has the certifications to be able to do that, it's good with people.
Yeah,
like
chance to them.
yeah, you can email us.
Yeah, email us.
Yeah, email us. What should you advice? Yeah, advice@wakafarms.com. So, yeah, or like get people to send their CV to advice@wakafarms.com, and we'll forward it on to our friends because they pay really good, and
It's a good opportunity.
yeah, they're pretty chill people. Hey, like I wouldn't be friends with them if they were high stress and like treated people badly. From everything I know about Mike and Rebecca, like they're great people. We've been friends with them for a few years now. They're actually sticking out in Fiji. They started a business here. They've invested like actual money in brick and mortar, like a boat and an actual shop in the wee island. So that'd be really helpful if you guys know anybody in Fiji who's looking for like an opportunity to like do something super fun. Like Mike does the funnest fishing trips around, and so yeah, you don't have to live on like some remote island. Like you still get to come back at the end of every day and be in town. So yeah, there's something that needs to be done. Like Samsung is really hurting right now. Rebecca was saying, like the price. So because I had to come to Samsung this afternoon. So I actually had looked if I could just fly straight here from Suva, and the flight to Mombasa was $150, $151, and the flight to Samsung was $460.
But they're the closest.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. It seems like it's something. There's an airline that has a monopoly on Samsung, and so there's no competition. And so when there's no competition, you get to pick your prices. And if you don't really want to fly here that much, then you'll just jack up the prices. So that when you do fly, you make a lot of money. And so, I'm not going to get into like the politics of all of it, but something needs to be addressed because Samsung is super hurting right now. And like this big investment in the wee island, like there's business owners now that like need that money to like keep coming in.
Yeah.
And so, I'm excited about Mombasa. But like Samsung is obviously still part of the north, and so we need people's help up here as well. So thank you guys very much for joining. I know this is a bit of a different vibe. Sorry, no grog tonight, but we'll see you guys again here. If you guys want merch, apparel, just hop online, wakafarms.com/store. I know you guys are missing Koroi, so shout out Koroi. Make sure you have some mixed radio when you come home for Tui because he needs to edit. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. This is fun. On the Mat is just I think it's like probably gonna be our biggest thing that we do in the future, and moving forward with the media business, doing like live shows and interacting with you guys and stuff like that. And so we're working on getting more equipment, working on the studio, the audio, and we'll be upgrading things slowly as we go along. So, but for today, we got the portable studio going. Thank you guys very much for joining. My name is Jonathan Bati. This was On the Mat.
On the floor.
On the floor. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Stay in tune.
Stay in tune.